In this week's Parsha, Balak, the king of Moab, invites the prophet Balaam to curse the Israelites. Along his path, Balaam encounters an angel sent to warn him against this perilous venture. But the angel doesn't turn Balaam around. Instead, the divine messenger permits him to carry on with his journey. But the angel's appearance provides hope in the midst of menacing uncertainty that a benign resolution lies ahead. And it can seem that we're in need of angels now more than ever, with the perils of conflict, disease, hunger, and oppression threatening our people across the world once again, and an uncertain future on the horizon. But, like our ancestors before us, we too have the benefit of angels sent to provide hope amidst uncertainty. Our guest speaker tonight, Eli Beer, founder and president of United Hatzalah of Israel, an organization whose volunteers have provided hope to so many in their greatest moments of doubt, both in Israel and across the world, is one such angel. With its most recent efforts, Operation Orange Wings, United Hatzalah has brought medical aid to refugees in Ukraine and evacuated Ukrainian refugees to Israel, a partnership that we are humbled at Stephen Wise Temple to participate in. I'd like to all of us to wish a Shabbat Shalom to our angel tonight, Eli Beer. It's okay, you can clap. It's deserving.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Thank you. Thank you. 4 months ago, I received a phone call from a woman who was living in Israel. She was crying on the phone. It was a Friday night, and she was crying. She was asking me, Eli, I need your help. I need United Hatzalah's help. I said, what do you need? We help everyone who needs. You don't have to call me directly. We have an emergency number you could call. She said, no, this is something that I turned to everyone. I couldn't get help. She said, I was trying to have children for many years, me and my husband. They live next to Modi'in, the city of Modi'in. They couldn't get pregnant. And they went to Ukraine 9 months before. And they started a surrogate process. And they found someone to carry their own baby. And she tells me the baby was born yesterday in Kiev, and the bombings just started in Kiev 2 days before. She said my baby was born in a small little clinic. They had to move all the women down, 80 women. They moved them down to underneath the building, which wasn't really protected, but that was the only thing they had. And this woman is crying. Her name is Vered, and she says to me, please save my little girl that was born yesterday. My girl is only 1 day old, and the woman who carried the baby had to run away 5 hours after she delivered the baby. And the nurses want to run away. Everyone wants to get out of there. The bombings are right there. She said, I need someone to rescue my little baby. Please save her. When I heard that, you know, we hear these stories. We heard these stories from our parents and grandparents. Things like that happened in Europe 85 years ago. And I call my people who were already situated, United Hatzalah volunteers, the volunteers you see in Israel driving the ambucycles, these motorcycles, these orange motorcycles all over, who are really angels, like you said, Rabbi. And these volunteers stop everything they do and run to save other people. So I had volunteers in Moldova, in Poland, and other places, and some of them were still in Ukraine. And I asked them, let's do everything possible to save this baby. It took 62 hours of operation inside Ukraine. We had to find an ambulance that was willing to drive inside Kiev from another city. Couldn't find gasoline. They were out of gasoline already. And we had to get some army and police to escort the ambulance out. We had to get a doctor to take the baby out because otherwise they wouldn't even let to take the baby out. We had to get the ambassador of Israel Joel, who's a saint, to drive 4 hours to the border of Ukraine and Moldova to wait for this little it was already 2-day-old baby, and give that baby papers to leave Ukraine and come to Moldova. We had to take that baby to Romania, and a plane was waiting for her. This little baby, a plane was waiting. The plane landed from Israel with the mother. Everything was arranged by United Hatzalah. The baby now is 4 months old, I think, around 4 months old. And little baby's name is Rain, and living in Israel with her parents. And I'm saying this story is because it's not United Hatzalah that did this. It's all of us together. This congregation, together with all of you, went ahead and decided, with living in California in a beautiful area. Look at this beautiful view behind me. But people are suffering in the other side of the world. People's lives were destroyed. In one moment, people's life stopped and they had to run away again. This is 85 years after a lot of them are running. And I decided I'm going to go there myself and see what's going on. We started sending planes. We called it Operation Orange Wings. And we were sending planes loaded with medical equipment, with food, with supplies, humanitarian stuff that they needed, medicines. And the planes were not coming back empty. The planes were coming back with hundreds of refugees that had nowhere else to run but to run to Israel. This is why Israel is there, for every single human being, every single Jew in the world could know that one day if he needs to come or she needs to come, we have open arms for them. United Hatzalah brought over 3,000 refugees to Israel. A lot of them were young babies like Rain, but another one was a man that I found on the border of Moldova, and it was snowing. It was really a snowy day, freezing day. I was on the border with my volunteers. We had a little hospital, a field hospital. So people coming exhausted after days of walking. And we took care of them, and we gave them food, hot meals. And then we helped them get to the Kishinev, the capital. And I'm on the border, and I see an old man walking towards me. He looked like he's falling. He was still on the side of Ukraine. So I ran to him, and I was holding his hand. He was holding a little bag with him, a little tiny bag. I took the bag from him. That was all his belongings. This man started crying. I hugged him. I don't know who he was. I couldn't understand the language. He was speaking Russian or Ukrainian, and I don't speak that language. But I thought maybe he's Jewish. I don't know. I said, I'll try. I said, Verstehst Yiddish? And I don't know Yiddish either. But I knew that if he answers, he knows Yiddish. That was a language my parents always kept away from me. They could talk to each other. And this man started crying. He started saying in Yiddish a bunch of stuff, and I didn't understand them either. But I knew I'm talking to someone who's probably not his first time running away. And I got him sitting down, and we gave him a hot cup of tea. And one of my volunteers who speaks Ukrainian came to him, a volunteer from Ashkelon. He left. He's a lawyer. He's a volunteer in Israel whenever they have an emergency. And by the way, they just had 2 missile attacks towards Ashkelon. That's why I was so busy just a few minutes ago. And it never ends there. And this volunteer from Ashkelon is talking to this old man who is 92 years old. I thought he was younger. He looked younger. 92 years old. His name is Misha. And he was crying, and he was saying this is his second time running. And he says, when I was a little boy, I was running with my mother, and she was feeding me dry bread, and I couldn't eat it because it was too dry, so she would wet it with rain. And he says, now I don't even have my mother to feed me. That's what he was telling this volunteer. When I heard it, I started crying like a little child. And I said to myself, I'm here for this. I took Misha. I hold his hand. I said, I'm taking you to Eretz Yisrael. I'm taking you to Eretz Yisrael. I knew he's going to understand Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. And I walked him to a bus waiting there, and we put him in. We took him to Kishinev Tower. We had a place, we had a big soup kitchen that we built, and a big place where they could rest, and we had beds there. It was intense, but it was heated inside. And I promised him I'll take him to Israel. He was never on a plane before. He had no documents. and he was scared to go. I said, I'm going to go with you. We had planes going back and forth every day. And I took him into the plane, into El Al plane. And he was crying and he was shivering the whole way. And all of a sudden I realized in the back of the plane, they had a man holding a Torah. He rescued a Torah from one of the synagogues in Kharkov. And he was holding the Torah. I asked him, could I hold the Torah? We had there 195 refugees in the plane. They had more pets than I ever saw in my life. Every single refugee brought his pets. But all of a sudden I see one person holding a Torah. I said, I need that Torah. He said, why? I said, I need a man needs that Torah to hold. I took it over to Misha. And I asked him, he saw it, he started crying again, and he was holding it so tight. And that's how we brought him into Israel. When we landed the plane, he was holding the Torah. And we landed Israel for his first time in his life. Misha came to Israel. Now Misha is living in Ashkelon. We found him a place. He has a nephew living in next to Tel Aviv. But Misha is one of thousands of people that we brought to Israel. And we helped over 50,000 people that we help with food and medicines and other things directly to their homes, and many other people got help. And I want to thank Stephen S. Weiss congregation, temple, and school for all the work you guys did to support our mission in Ukraine that is still going on until today. Even today, we were rescuing sick people out of Ukraine. So I want to give something small to the shul. To all of you. I know a lot of you on Zoom, and I want to thank you. You know, I wish I could bring Little Rain and Misha to show you who you helped. But I want to bring you a little. I have Carolyn here, and United Hatzalah is a volunteer organization. We have over 6,500 volunteers, but we have thousands of people like you who are real partners in all our life-saving work. So where's the rabbi? And Dina Kadisha, who you all know, she's a member of the community. She started this relationship, and I want to thank her if she's watching us. She's in Israel now. She couldn't be here today. Carolyn, come help me read this.
Sure. So it says, we cannot do all the good the world needs, but the world needs all the good we can do. Thank you, Stephen S. Weiss, Temple and Schools. Thank you for partnering with United Hatzalah to provide humanitarian and medical aid to Ukrainian refugees.
This is, we're proud to have this in your beautiful, beautiful temple. And we hope to grow our partnership in many other ways. Bezrat Hashem, I'll be back here in LA. We're coming on, I want to invite you personally and many members of the community. We have an event in September 19th here in LA. Ambassador David Friedman will be coming, speaking on behalf of the organization. Love to have you all. Thank you so much for having us tonight.